Black and Blue again with the fucking solo. Anyway, and I missed a couple parts and I fucked up a little bit, so here we go. Good enough. Alright, so start out grabbing the second fret of your A string and the fourth fret of G, a little octave, the B note there, second fret of A. Slide into the fourth fret. Slide in there, grabbing the A string there. Well, here we're going to grab the E string open also. Be gentle on it though, too much it'll overpower it. Alright, so now we're grabbing side of that fourth fret, go up to the fifth fret. Grab that open E. Grab the open low E. We come up here, grab the open high E. Keep your finger on that seventh fret of G though. You hear that tone change there. Alright, so come back down to that fourth fret. Go from, we did the open B or open E to the seventh fret of G. Now we're just going to go open E to open B. Finish up on that second fret octave. E, the low E in there. To some open E with some third fret E. Nothing to that, right? This time we're going to slide that octave up there, but we're going to come back and grab an open D, open G string, open D string. Second fret of G, third fret of B. Now we're just recreating that. Alright, so we're on that open D chord. We go open E, back to that third fret of B. We go to an A5 chord there. Open A, second fret of B and G. We hit that open B before we come back to an E5. Do a little fucking repeat. Now this time we come down to that fourth fret. We go B to E open. That second fret. And come back in on that slide. We're going to grab a fifth fret of D, fourth fret of G, fifth fret of B, fifth of D, fourth of G, third of D, third of B. Right? Fifth of D, fourth of G, third of B. So anyway, so throw that in there. We're going to walk that same open E down to that third fret of B. Right. We're going to come out here and move our finger down to the fourth fret of D, second fret of G, third fret of B. We just go to open E to an A5. So So play the son of a bitch slow real quick. Play it slow real quick. I caught that. Open E. Hammer on pull off on 4. 3 to 4, back to 3 to open. Hopefully that made some sense there. That last. Right, I caught the part in there with the. Right, open, hammer on, pull off. Whatever, back and forth, 3, 4, 3, open. The second fret of D. Alright. We're just going to keep the same motive going, or the same theme going. Alright, slide that octave, 2 to 4. And now once we hit the, we're going to work that open E pedal tone in there. Right? Just them same chords there. Just gonna do a D5 there. D5 power chord on your 5th fret of A. A5, pull off on 3 to open on E. Come back for E5 on your A string. Do that again. Right? So. Got this here. 3rd fret there on E. Bending that up. And when you get to the top up there, give it some vibrato. Right? Seem to be fucking up the rhythm on that a little bit. You get the idea there. You catch the timing on it if I'm botching it a little bit. It doesn't feel like I'm doing it quite right. Anyway. Alright, that's what we're doing here. So we're going to hit the A5 again. Go to open A mute. 2 taps, muted 5th on the 5th fret of A. Harmonic. And your 7th fret of A. And we just go to an E5. We're working back from our 7th of A, or 7th of E. The 5th of A, back to the 7th. Back to that 7th fret of A. Right? We come back to that. Come in with a quick open E there. Here we're going to grab the 7th frets of D and G before we come into this little hammer-on pull-off on 5 to 6 on the D string. And go to the 7th fret of A. Right? That made sense of that? 7 frets there, D and G. Same exact shit. We'll drop that open E again. Here we're just going. Using our open B string all the time on this first part here. We're going to slide into the 4th fret of G and back down to 2 and 1, 2, 1 on G. Maybe a little bit slight mute there on your with your right hand there. And you're just finishing up with a 2nd fret slide on a D up to 4, back down to 2. Maybe hit that open G in there too if you can. Right? Back into our. There it is. Alright, same shit. And back to the end of the chorus, we come into. Grabbing your harmonic there on the G string on the 5th fret to 7th fret of B, harmonic. To a 12th fret, E to B. I fucked up on the first one in this part. There's a 3rd fret here. 3rd fret on E with a bend. Same exact as first cut, I think, or first time around anyway, which is a fucking rarity for Eddie Van Halen, I think, Edward Van Halen. Anyway, come back through. Alright, chorus comes around again. Now come into the little break before the solo. So I'm doing it, go open D. I'm not really doing anything here, it's just open. I'm doing a couple taps on your chords there, and now you're just doing right? So open D. It might be at E5. It seems like it goes up. Just like it finishes the rest. Anyway, after the solo, I think it goes to. So anyway, open D, grab that E to an A, to an E5 with an open E on there. Put E5 on this A 7th fret of A, power chord. Slide into that 5th fret of D and G, give it a tap, a couple open muted E's there, and just one muted E between the slide up to 9. Alright, 5, 7, 9 on D and G. There's another slide in here on the 9th fret of D. Walking up the 9th fret of D and G, to the 12th fret of B. Right. 9th frets of D and G, 12th of B. Then we'll grab the 11th fret of D, muted. I'm going to walk 10-9 on B to the 9th of G. Right? Come back to that. Grab that 5th frets of D and G. To our open D. To the 2nd fret power chord on A. Now here you want to fret your D and G on the 4th fret. Grab your 2nd frets on B and E. You're just walking up a 4 count and a 3 count. Right? Walking up 4s, D to G, 2s, B and E, and then just doing the 4s, D and G, and finish up on the B on the 2nd fret of E. Right? Same exact thing from before, only now we're going to go to the 5th frets of C. C5, open G, the 2nd fret's there, and here comes the fucking solo. Now that was a fucking face-stealing attempt right there. So, anyway, execution's everything. So starting out there on the 7th fret of A, I'm gonna go down to the 7th fret of B, 5-7 on A. And we're just gonna walk that 7 on B, or 7, that B note, 7th fret of E. Oops, 5-7 on A again. Right. So we got that little bit of harmonic on there. Here, I'm gonna do a little hammer on pull off 3 times. Right. I'm going to hammer on, it's a D string there on open to 2. Alright, I'm going to go open 2, back to open on the A string. Pull off on the 3 to open on E. Right? 3 times there on open 2 to D, on D. 1 time there, open 2, open. Right. Work this out any other way than what I got it going on here, but this feels a little fucked up to you. Try another way. But I can't really piece it together without getting it more fucked up than it already is. Alright? So we're starting out with a pre-bend here up to the A note there. We'll release that. That's a quick little thing there. Alright, pre-bend, release to 3. Open. Back to 3. Tap that fucking E note up here on this 12th fret. I don't think there's any vibrato on there, but I wouldn't worry about it either way. You gotta pluck that fucking G string in 7th fret somehow. Shit on? Yeah. Alright, so 7th fret up there, a G. Pull that fucker out of nowhere. You could just play me with tapping. Sounds plucked, picked, struck, chicken fucking picked. I don't know. I'm just going for tapped harmonics since I'm not pulling off very well. But anyway. Tone 12 to 14 back and forth, 12 to 14, 12 to 14. Alright. You're going to pull off on that 7th fret to open G. Grab your harmonic there on the 5th fret. Pulling off 7 to open on G, grabbing that harmonic on the 5th fret of G. And an artificial harmonic on your 2nd fret of G. You slide into the 4th fret of G. Tap that 5th fret of B. So. Right? All right. Here we go. So, hammer on that 5th fret of B. We're going to pull off to 3 and back. Right? After we hammer back onto there, we're going to slide our fingers up. Slide our finger up here. So, take that 5th fret, we slide up to 7, we start a little tapping sequence here. Tapping on 8, pulling off 2 taps there, back to 7. Pulling off to 5, back to 7. Alright, so. Alright, then we're going to start doing 2 taps here. We're going to start walking up the fretboard here a little bit. So, once we come out of that, we slide our finger up here. Oof. Alright, we slide our finger up and we move our other, slide this finger up to whatever fucking 12th fret, doesn't really matter. Pull it up and pull it off there. While you're doing that, you want to slide this, your 2nd finger up to the 7th fret from 5. Alright, and we're going to start doing. Alright, so we're going to start. You slide up there. Do that, and we're going to come into, what's that, 10 to 7? So we'll start out 10 to 7, 2 taps. Slide our finger up to 8 to do a 12-8 tap. Alright? Slide up for a 10-14 double tap. Alright, so from 10 to 14, slide up, do a 12 to 15. And slide up again, 17 to 13. We slide up from 13 to 17, 15 to 19. We slide up from fucking 15 to 19, 17 to 20. 2 more taps there. Alright. Your last one we finish up, yeah, 17, 20. 19, 15, 17, 20. Alright. So after those 2 taps there, I'm going to tap again on 20. While we're doing that, tap on that 20 and we're going to come down with our other finger on 15. We're going to bend up. Ooh, alright, so we're going 20 down to 15. Alright, then we're going to come in here, we're going to tap 17. Release on 12. I'm going to hold that bend on 14. I hold that bend on 15. So we tap that 17th fret and then release. And when you're fucking, after you tap that, I'm going to tap off to that 12th fret and release that bend. This last part here, 14th frets of B and G, down to the 14th fret of D, to the 12th frets B and G, to a pull off on the G there and a dive on the bar. So. So make that kind of, make sure you pull that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I think. I think we'll go with that. So if we dump that bar. All right. Now there's a lot of fucking delay on here, so I got this pieced out for without delay. So got the delay on there. I don't know what it would be set to. To tell you the truth. Hey, we're gonna go grab 19th fret of G, 20th fret of B. Alright, so with that delay on there, it's funky, so we're just going. Alright, 20, 19, 20, 19, 20, 19. Actually hit them both. Right. Right. Now here, sliding a 19th fret there of B and G, or E and B. Alright. Pull that again, that kind of rattles off. So we're going to slide into 22. When we come down at that second 22 up on E, from B to E. Alright, 22nd B to E. Well, this time we're going to come back and we're going to do a. Alright, so so bending up and pulling off on 22 to back in 20, coming back to 21 on the G string, bending up 22 to pull off to 20 on B, right? Then up to 22 on the E string. Then we're going to go from 20 to 22, 22, 20, 22, 20 on B, finish up on 21 of the G. So that makes sense. Probably a bend on that 22. Sounds like it's being struck a couple times. That's that delay or echo kicking in. You could hit it twice. Either way. Alright. Second fret of the fucking old G stringer there. I'm going to start out fucking with the second on G, open B. And once we start bending that second fret of G up, we'll start bringing in that open E. Slide in there. Now, I don't have a count on this shit, so I don't think it's terribly. And after we get to the end of that, we'll do a pull off. Hammer on pull off on O to 2, back to open on the G string. Slide in the 4th fret there of the G, grab the 3rd fret of B to open E. And I'm going finish up there, going open E, pulling off on 3rd, open on B, and then we're going to go open E to open B. Open E, open B, hammer on pull off. Finish off with a slide on 3 to 5 on B with the E string open ringing. Alright? From the top. Alright. Just come into a D. D5 there. Grab it all the way up to your octave. And grab open E and B. I think it just goes from D to E here. Comes back. Then when you come before the E, you want to go open A and the 7th fret of D. Grab an A note there. Finish up like that. And maybe finish up there. Sounds like it changes chords though. Either way. D chord there, D5 open. Maybe that's what it is. Got that D5 here. Catch that open E. Comes back into the intro there. Adding that trill on there. This last one might just be, instead of catching that B note, make it slide down from the 4th fret there to the 2nd. Finish off with that D5 open. Cut short E5 on the end. So D5, to an open E, A5, to an open B, to a cut off E5 there. Pretty much a lot of the same shit. I haven't worked it out. Probably never will, to tell you the truth, but the one part I don't know how the hell how Edward Van Halen did it, but kind of getting that, and I'm guessing right here. I mean, it sounds like the shit to me. I'm just throwing this shit out here. So, and here's kind of tapped. I thought it might have just been the bar and some shit going on, but he's. Right there sound the most like it. You hear that shit? Just kind of move. Trying to just sound those low strings there. I don't know if it really matters. Anyway. Just fucking racking the bar. It does fucking sound like it. Anyway, and then fucking. I think I did work out that part. We'll do at least that, and we'll wrap this bitch up. So we're hammering, hitting the 5th fret of B, 3rd fret, hammer on pull off on the B string down the 4th fret of G. I'm going to finish up on the 5th fret of D, down the 7th fret of A, That's pretty much it. Anyway, that was long as shit.